The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
Pompey are desperate to start turning positive performances into points when they make the short trip to London to face Charlton tonight. With their rivals in the Championship survival battle not playing, it's a golden opportunity for John Messinio's men to stretch their one-point cushion over the bottom three. They're up against a team that was in a bit of trouble themselves until a recent upturn in form eased the pressure. A goalless draw with QPR, sandwiched between impressive wins over Leicester and Stoke, has seen the Addicks move 6 points clear of the Blues, although they have played an extra game. It's been a much-needed turnaround for Nathan Jones' side, who, after a strong start to the season, had seemed to be in freefall. They earned their place in the division after finishing 5th in League One last term, getting past both Wycombe and Leyton Orient in the playoffs. When the sides met in the final game of 2025, it looked like the Londoners' excellent record at Fratton Park was set to continue. Harvey Knibb's stoppage-time strike cancelled out Conor Shaughnessy's opener, only for a sensational last-gasp winner from Min Yok Yang to finally end the hoodoo. On their last visit to the Valley back in February 2024, Pompey battled to a goalless draw on their way to clinching the League One title. Before kick-off, a period of applause will be held in loving memory of Charlton fan Norman Headphones Norm Barker, who sadly passed away after falling ill during the original fixture. The applause will also be a thank you to both sets of supporters for the incredible amount of money raised in Norm's memory. Pompey's injury curse struck again on Saturday, with Andre Dezelle, ankle, and Adrian Segic's leg both forced off. The pair will be unavailable tonight. The visitors are also without Aji Alese, quad, Keshi Anderson, hamstring, Florian Bianchini, knee, Harvey Blair, hip, Connor Chaplin, groin, Josh Knight, back, Mark Kosnowski, knee, Hayden Matthews, ankle, Josh Murphy, foot, Connor Shaughnessy, quad, Franco Ume, hamstring, and Thomas Waddingham, thigh. Charlton are missing Josh Edwards, ankle, and Harvey Knibbs, ankle, while Miles Leaburn, shoulder, is also a doubt.
Yeah, this is worth underlining. Charlton are missing Josh Edwards and Harvey Knibbs, and they've got Miles Leaburn, a doubt. Pompey are without Andre Dezelle, ankle, Adrian Segicic, leg, Aji Alise, quad, Keshi Anderson, hamstring, Florian Bianchini, knee, Harvey Blair, hip, Connor Chaplin, groin, Josh Knight, back, Mark Kosnowski, knee, Hayden Matthews, ankle, Josh Murphy, foot, Connor Shaughnessy, quad, Franco Ume, hamstring, and Thomas Waddingham, thigh. If this isn't a world record, an all-time in the history of football world record, then I am a poisonous South American frog. Andre Dezelle, ankle, Adrian Segicic, leg, Aji Alese, quad, Keshi Anderson, hamstring, Florian Bianchini, knee, Harvey Blair, hip, Connor Chaplin, groin, Josh Knight, back, Mark Kosnowski, knee, Hayden Matthews, ankle, Josh Murphy, foot, Connor Shaughnessy, quad, Franco Ume, hamstring, and Thomas Waddingham, thigh. Michael Eisner has just been sat down by a senior American broadcasting organisation and quizzed about his involvement across sport and the general business activities of Tornante, but he took plenty of time out to break down how the Eisners went about finding the football club that they felt they needed and ensuring that it became a family business and not just a piece of naked entrepreneurship.
I thought a great asset and fun asset in the family that plays together, stays together. I thought it'd be great for my family. And we looked all over the world. We first looked at MLS here. It seemed overpriced to me at the time. We looked at teams in Europe. It seemed like the only real center of soccer, football, as it were, was the UK. We looked at teams in the UK.
You negotiated with a couple Premier League clubs for a little bit, right?
We did, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to build from scratch. We really were the Wrexham strategy 3 years before Wrexham. And I thought geez, I didn't want to be in England and be Hollywood, and we would just concentrate on sports. Ryan Reynolds got ahead of us smartly and went to Northern Wales. We went to Southern England, and we're building a team up from scratch.
Take me to May of 2017, Portsmouth, Guildhall, and the pitch that you kind of had to give.
What I would bring to my role as an owner of Pompey is the same attention to detail that I brought to Disney. No detail is too small. Whether it's the condition of the bathrooms, sight lines from the stands, maintenance of the pitch, quality of the radio and TV coverage, and of course, continuing the quality of the beer.
Well, we had gone all over, and most of the places were for sale or they were interested. Portsmouth really wasn't, but we learned that it was owned by the fans, and the CEO, not the board, was kind of interested in us, and he said, come on down, and we got in his car, we got there, and we drove around, and Eric, my son, said to me, Dad, this is it, now or never. How much more are we going to fly all over the world looking for a team? And then we went to the game, the match, and it really was like the Final Four in the US, but every game is like that. They've been in the Premier League. They had 3 owners that went broke. So it's the second most bombed city outside of London because of the Navy during the Second World War. There's so much history. They're so passionate. Very working class city.
What were some of the issues you recognized upon taking over, and how have you gone about trying to resolve those?
Well, it was attractive because there was no value, so we were able to get in there. I didn't realize how much we'd have to spend in bringing it back, but it was what I like. It's looking for something to, instead of buying up here, buying down here, and then getting it up there.
And you spent way more bringing it back than you did on purchasing the actual team.
By multiples, yes. Yep. Yeah, we did. And we did a lot of due diligence, and we were underestimating. We had to build a whole new stand, sprinkler systems, exits, get rid of safe standing. Food was awful. We're still working on things that I learned at Disney. And we...
Like what?
Well, we had when the fans were running it, the management was doing great, but I had them come up and go to the Disney University to learn the obvious, which is how to take care of the public. And we've worked on that. We've worked on everything to do with dealing with the public. And of course, we've improved the squad.
How do things stand today with the team and kind of the revitalization of it relative to where you were expecting it would be at this point?
Well, I didn't expect to win the World Series for the Angels. I didn't expect to get in the Stanley Cup for the Ducks. Nobody expected that. We've been at it for 7 or 8 years. The pyramid in English football, the pyramid starts with the Premier League with 20 teams, and then there's 72 teams in the EFL below the pyramid. And we're now in the league just below the Premier League, the championship. It's very exciting and very expensive. Everybody loses money. Parliament has made a law with an administrator who's going to adjudicate how the money gets determined. Right now, the Premier League in the media takes 96% of the revenue for 20 teams, and 4% goes to the other 72 teams, which means the other 72 teams are all losing money and going broke, except for the ones that are owned by super billionaires and Eastern monarchs and things like that. So the economics are very difficult, but they'll get better.
Michael Eisner on how he came to be, and his family, the owners of our club, Portsmouth FC. Number of interesting little tidbits in there, weren't there? One, for example, that they prowled around a couple of Premier League sides. Did I get that right? 2, he's clear, without actually going into details financially, that Pompey has been an expensive project for him. Now, cynics will say the money that's been thrown at the facilities, the assets, is bound to be recouped at a later date in the sell-on value that the club has. But it doesn't always work like that. It simply doesn't. You cannot predict the market in that way. People put double glazing in their houses in the hope that in 6 months' time they can put it on the market at an inflated price. They build extensions, they insulate the loft, they paint the bedrooms, they do all sorts of things, hoping that the sell-on value of the item that they want to sell on is going to be enhanced by more than the cost of the improvement. But Michael Eisner is a commercial genius. One of 4 people who were once reputed to run the United States of America. Okay, this is the guy that we've got at the helm. We have to just trust him and get on with doing what we do best, which is shouting our lungs out every time we're at a game.
Rich Hughes is explaining the thinking behind bringing Jacob Brown to Fratton on loan.
Jacob, we feel we have a player that has played and scored in the Premier League. He has also affected teams in the Premier League and Championship. He has a real point to prove, and we thought it would be a good bit of recruitment. Certainly in his 69 minutes against Preston, I felt he gave us a different dimension in our attacking play. He led the line really well. I thought he was aggressive and mobile and different to what we've got. We wanted to strengthen in that position, and what Jacob does is give us something a bit different. What we have seen of him previously, he's a player who can affect the Championship, and even beyond when he's on his game. It's our challenge to get him back there and get him back to those standards. There aren't many like for like with Colby, whose skill set is unique. I recently saw a graphic about hold-ups, and Colby was 25 clear of the next number 9 in the Championship, so actually finding somebody who plays the same is really tough. Colby is incredibly physical and powerful. He has that great ability to pin centre-backs and bring others into play, so it was important to sign someone who can offer something different, to give the team a bit of a different angle in attack. When you speak to anyone that has crossed paths with Jacob in football, they will tell you what a good lad he is and how hard he works. It's never going to be an absence of work rate or desire with Jacob. Most forward players thrive on confidence, and Dewators, if we can give him that back, I think he'll do really well for the football club between now and the end of the season.
Yes, he walked into the club at the last minute and he was out there on the pitch almost straight away for over an hour, and he clearly arrived at Fratton Park, as Boris Johnson put it when he was campaigning in the last general election but won, about Brexit. He was saying it's oven ready, and Jacob Brown arrived at Fratton Park oven ready, and he did the business, and he's a prospect. At least he is somebody who knows his way around the Championship and knows where the goal is. And once he settles in and maybe forms an even better working relationship with Ali over on the left, once that happens, you never know, they might start pinging in. That's the idea, and it's a good one.